Hey y'all, this is Timeka, the face behind Heyyy HR. I am so excited to tell y'all about some tools that I just know throughout my career I need. It takes away the headache. And so many times I've worked in companies that have had these tools and didn't have these tools, and it can really be a big difference. It could be the difference between quiet quitting and truly outperforming the job. So if you want to know the top 3 HR tools that I think are just absolute must-haves in every HR position, and not that I think, I know, everyday must-haves, then definitely keep watching. So the absolute first tool that I think every company must have is a fully functioning human resources information system. Preferably, I like not only that this human resources information system houses like the employees' data, maybe their personal email address, their home address, their phone number, even their employee files perhaps, but I absolutely love when I can tie those in with the applicant tracking system, your benefits, and even external benefits. So if I have a minimum benefits tied in and applicant tracking with my regular HRS, then I'm okay. I love when I get all the extra stuff, but those things are just like a must-have in a human resources information system. It just makes work so much easier. It's less of talking between systems, it's less of logging in, logging out. It definitely helps other parts of your organization that needs to see that information see it as well, and that you're seeing the exact same information and not dialing into different parts of the system. When companies do not have fully functioning human resources information systems, it can really make you focus more on the tactical or everyday transactional things versus being strategic, thinking clear, making decisions that's going to impact your organization, impact your employees. And so I think that every company should absolutely have one. Personally, that is one of my interview questions. If it's not an interview that I was tied to on a personal basis, then when I'm asking for the first time, meeting this organization for the first time, I'm not only asking that in an interview, I'm actually taking it a step higher in the interview by asking, how do we use it? What parts do you have? What parts do you use? How long have you had the system? I'm looking at it from the time I submit that application, because most times when you submit your application, you can see which system they're using by either looking at the bottom of that application or looking into the address link, the web address link. So those are 2 ways to know if this company has one or not. If you're like, well, Timeka, I applied through Indeed, you'll never know through Indeed unless they have like a one-click apply. That sometimes can mean it, but Indeed really has its own applicant tracking system, so you might not know, or unless it's like in the job description. So it's very important to kind of know that ahead of time. It just makes life easier. Now, my number 2 thing is I always need something so basic that you literally can provide for yourself. I always need a calendar and a notebook. They work hand in hand. They actually build onto each other. I can't tell you how many notebooks I've had throughout my career. The minute I realized that a notebook helps me keep things like in order and going, it's just been a game changer. I've relied on a calendar early on in my career, like my own calendar, so I can see when work really has a conflict with my personal life. When I see that I really have too much jammed into a week, I may need to like space things out. I've done a video on how I keep things organized, and that's been my number 1 way to keep things organized. So if you have not watched that video, I'll definitely link it in the description box so you can see the video on how I keep myself productive and organized in my human resources career. It sounds so simple, but it's nothing to realize that you may be planning a lunch and learn the week that you're doing open enrollment, that you may be planning a training the week before a large part of your employee population is having their own training for that department. So it's very important to have that calendar. It's also very important to have a notebook, because things will jot out to you all the time. Even if you keep it as a running list of to-dos, you really are helping yourself from like not overloading your brain. It helps you get exhausted when you're like overloading yourself on things to remember. What do I need to do? When did I say this? Who asked for this? What time do I need this done? And it also helps you prioritize or deprioritize tasks. So it sounds simple, but listen, a calendar and a notebook goes a long way. So if you're like,
Timeka, but I don't do physical. I really only do digital. Then
cool, Google has Google Docs and a Google Calendar. Like, use it. Now the last 3, I'm kind of cheating with this one because my first one was just 1 tool. My second one was 2 tools. Now I get to the third one, it's more like 3 tools, but this is something that the company should have, right? All together. And like the company should have this for an existing period of time. But my absolute number 3 is an employee handbook, company policies, and SOPs. These things give you history of the company. It helps you stay consistent. It helps you make sure that you're not searching for answers. It gives you that confidence when giving answers, because over and over again, you'll get used to all three of these. And so it leaves less on you to remember. Like, what did I tell so-and-so? Did I check this off? Da, da, da. Like, it really keeps you in order. And so when companies don't have that, it makes it so hard to just like stay consistent, think strategically, be confident, move forward, be proactive. Sometimes you just find yourself outing fires all day and being reactive all day. So if your company doesn't have those things, I really, really highly suggest starting with creating those things. I've created SOPs for companies. I've created employee handbooks for companies. I've created policies and procedures. I think in the human resources career, we get so caught up on creating policies and procedures, and we think that the other things just come with this. I didn't necessarily talk about SOPs in relation to HR, but I did talk about SOPs in relation to smaller organizations because it's a foundational thing. When you have them, they grow with your organization, and it makes it less of a burden to create or less of a harassing thing to like remember or task someone with. I will definitely put the link to that because it works absolute same way. It's really, really pivotal that you realize that I talked about small companies and like entrepreneurs there, but definitely for large companies, big companies, like they really should already have it in place. So dive into that video and kind of open yourself up to what SOPs are. I know people are familiar with policies and procedures. They're familiar with the employee handbook, but all three of these things kind of build a foundation, not only for your organization, but also your human resources department. So if you got through this whole video and you're like, you know what, you talk about some things, but I have been working in HR for the last few years and haven't seen any of these things, or this is brand new to me, or that's brand new to me, then you may want to consider the career mentoring option. With that option, I not only help you with starting your career, if that's like job search techniques or interview techniques, but I also help you with growing your career, more professional development, where we can work through things that aren't common to you, where you're finding difficulties on the job and feeling like there aren't any resources in your organization. I'm a big proponent of telling people, like, don't be embarrassed of telling your organization that you're working with specifically a human resources career coach like myself, because this can be presented to them as professional development, because you're not just helping yourself, you're helping that organization. So maybe they have professional development dollars that this already funded, budgeted there for you, and you can pay for that option with that. If not, I definitely have some flexible options through Sezzle, Afterpay, as well as PayPal. Career mentoring isn't just focused on helping you start your career or even get through the interviews, but it's helping you to be a better or more well-rounded HR professional. I'll leave the link to that in the description box too. If this is your first time watching a Hey HR video, then hello, my name is Timeka. Welcome. I hope that you found so much value in this video that you consider subscribing. Now, if this is not your first time watching a Hey HR video, then thank you so much. I really appreciate you returning. I appreciate you having the alerts on. I appreciate you subscribing. Please do me a huge, huge favor. Don't forget to hit the like button and just leave me a couple purple hearts in the comments, and that'll tell me, like, Timeka, I already been here before. I'm just returning, girl. I want to definitely know that you guys are here. Not only does it help me to know who's watching, and it's nice to see your names pop up again, especially when you come on lives, but it definitely helps YouTube to realize the value in my channel so that it can continue to help others find Hey HR on YouTube. I cannot wait to see you guys on the next video.